Even though the spot price of silver has dropped over $10 per ounce, the value of these pieces was actually never impacted by the spot price at all. Everyone knows the name of the game is to always find the lowest possible price when stacking silver and gold, right? Wrong. Today on Silver Forever, I show you how buying collectible gold and silver can help you retain the value of your stack even if the spot price of silver and gold drops like a rock. Alright, sorry if that was a bit dramatic, folks, but I think everybody is feeling the same thing right now, and that is what the hell is going on with the spot price of gold and silver. If you've been steady stacking over the last couple of years, I'm sure you're starting to feel the pain, right? I mean, the price of silver got close to $30. The price of gold exceeded $2,000. And right now, as it stands here in mid-July of 2022, we're seeing gold prices around $1,700 and silver prices flirting with the $18 range. So what we're going to do today is to talk about the value of each one of these pieces. How much did I pay for them? What was the spot price at the time, and what is their value today? Because I think that you're going to be a little bit surprised at what we find. One of the most common mantras that you'll always hear in the stacker community here on YouTube is that you need to be looking for silver with the lowest possible price. And usually what that means is the lowest premium. And the truth is, I'm one of those people, right? I really worry sometimes that some of these cool, interesting designs, especially these semi-numismatic coins, when you're first starting stacking, you look around and you see these really neat things and you think, oh wow, I'm gonna grab that, assuming that you're gonna have a way to sell it. But the problem is when you go to a local coin shop and you try to sell something like, for instance, this Czech lion coin, which I paid quite a pretty penny for. It's not a crazy premium considering how much I spend on fractional gold premiums, but it's still way more than a local coin shop would pay you just for the gold value. Just look at that beast. What an amazing piece. I really love this one. And if you've seen some of my videos, like the difference between stacking and collecting, or maybe the precious metals compass video where I explain where different YouTube content creators fall on my stacking versus collecting, silver versus gold chart, then maybe you already have an idea of where I'm going with this. Now lately, including in my video about the best silver to buy in 2022, I've been talking a lot about these silver kilo bars. Now, historically, these weren't always the easiest to sell. You might actually get paid back of spot when you were trying to sell these back to a local coin shop. But the big advantage here is that they have very low premiums, especially when compared to many of the other silver options that are available today. Now, one of the big advantages of buying low premium, low cost silver is that if you think the price is going to go up in the years to come, there's a solid chance that when you go to sell, you don't actually make back your money on the higher premium items. Now, if you have an outlet, let's say on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or forums like places on Reddit, maybe you'll be able to get back some of that premium that you spent up front on some more semi-numismatic items. But if the price of silver shoots up far enough, the reality is that people are just going to be paying for the melt weight. And of course, that was seen around 1980 when the spot price of silver shot up close to $50 for a short period of time. It didn't matter what kind of silver you had. It could be sterling sent to the melt. It could be junk silver like these. It could be high premium bars. The reality is that it really doesn't make a difference when the price is that high. So that's one big distinct advantage of buying low premium silver. Just the fact that you are more likely to end up making money in the long run if you have a lower initial cost. But this is where things get interesting. What happens if the price of silver doesn't go up? What happens if, like right now, the price of silver is absolutely plummeting downward? That is where collectible silver comes in. I'm going to tell you a bunch of interesting stories today about these pieces. One kind of wild example of this is this Queen's Beast Kilo completer coin. This is without a doubt one of my absolute favorite pieces. The design is just fantastic, but the most interesting part of this coin, in my opinion, and yes, it's a coin, is that this thing has a face value of 500 pounds. Now, just in the last day alone, so mid-July 2022, the melt value of this coin actually dropped below 500 pounds. If you've seen my video about face value, you know that this is a total anomaly in that regard. More often than not, the face value is far lower than what the melt value would ever be. However, in this case, the price of a kilo of silver dropped below 500 pounds yesterday. So, in an odd turn of events, the face value of this coin as legal tender in the United Kingdom actually exceeded its melt value. Now, I bought this piece for $960 back when spot price was $24.71. Now, since then, the spot price has dropped down into the $18.50 range, which means that's about a 25% drop in the price of silver as measured by spot. However, if you were to look on eBay and look at completed sales, this coin is actually selling for a minimum of $1,100, and some of them recently have been selling for anywhere from $1,150 to $1,400. So, despite the fact that the price of silver has dropped so much in such a short period of time, this thing has not only retained its value, it's appreciated in value because of its collector status. Now, sometimes you just get great deals at the local coin shop. One of those for me is this. I paid the same price as I would have for any generic British sovereign gold piece. And in this case, this is a 500th anniversary sovereign in original government packaging. Just an absolutely incredible piece here. I cannot tell you how happy I was to have picked this up at basically bullion prices, because this thing has a massive collector value, probably double, triple, quadruple what I actually paid for it. I was able to get into that piece as if I was just paying regular precious metals bullion prices, when the reality is it was a collector piece from the start. In that same way, what I have found is that many local coin shops who are just interested in the flip, just buying, selling, if they can just pay straight up bullion prices for an item, then they often just sell it for straight up bullion prices, because it's not worth their time to go searching on eBay and listing an item and worrying about that. Now, in the case of these Engelhard bars, I bought these from the local coin shop and I actually paid a pretty penny for them. However, it was the same price that they were selling 10-ounce bars for at the time. So in this case, I was paying about $340 for these, in one case $350 for these vintage Engelhard bars. I have some 7th and 11th P series Engelhard bars here. These are called loaf bars. Some of them have this waffle back. And these are some vintage bars. People love Engelhard pieces, and the reality is, even though I paid up to $350 for these bars, so that's $35 an ounce for these 10-ounce bars, the spot price at the time was between $28 and $29, and the premiums were sky high because physical silver was really hard to get your hands on at that point. However, even though the spot price of silver has dropped over $10 per ounce since I paid $35 an ounce for these are still selling right now on eBay for $340 to $380, even though the spot price is $18 now, whereas when I bought these, it was $28. Think about what that means. The value of these pieces was actually never impacted by the spot price at all. So it doesn't matter that they were originally made just as pure silver bullion. The fact is, now they are collectible, and so that collector status of these insulated me from that price drop, which means that the overall value of my stack was maintained at a higher level because I have these pieces in my stack. Now, of course, the flip side of that is what if the price of silver skyrockets to $48? Did it really help me to have high premium silver if I had to pay more to get my hands on it in the first place? Probably not. But in this case, I would have paid $350 for any 10-ounce bar at that point. So if you can find somebody who's selling collectible or vintage pieces at generic prices, that's absolutely the way to go. In fact, the same thing occurred with this 1 ounce JM Johnson Matthey bar. You might think that this is just a simple looking generic. They're all gonna look like this. This is nothing special. But here's the reality. I bought this around the same time as I bought these other Engelhard bars here. Spot price was $28.25 when I bought this. I paid $33 for this 1 ounce of silver. Now, the spot price of silver has dropped from $28.25 to around $18.25. That's $10 difference in the spot price or the melt value of this piece. However, if you go on eBay right now and you look at completed items, you'll find that this exact same bar is selling for $35 to $40, even though the spot price has dropped so precipitously. Just the other day, I picked up this 100-gram Scottsdale cast bar from the local coin shop. Spot at the time was $19, and I paid $75 for this, which comes out to somewhere around $24 per ounce. Now, I was not willing to pay that same price for generic silver rounds at the time. However, I had no problem buying this piece, and why? Because if you look at this piece right now on eBay, it's selling for $80 to $90. Again, even though spot price has dropped another dollar since I paid for it. Just for the record, 100 grams is a little more than 3 troy ounces. So, let's compare these two buys. Here is the 1 ounce Johnson Matthey. I paid $33 for this piece when spot was at $28. Here is an American flag 1 ounce bar generic. Doesn't even have any kind of mint on it. It has the most important thing, which is the composition and purity and the weight right here. Although it should probably say 1 troy ounce. I paid $26.50 for this bar when spot was $22.50. What's the value of this bar now? About spot price, about $18.50. Maybe I get lucky, get an extra buck on there, but it's still less than $20. Meanwhile, this piece is easily selling on eBay for $35 to $40. So I bought this one when spot was $6 higher than this. I paid around the same premium for them, and yet even though spot has plummeted, this is still more valuable than I paid for it versus this, which has lost a ton of value. Now, there are unlimited examples that I can share with you of this happening, but we have to be careful and realize that there's two sides of this same coin. If the price of silver goes up sufficiently high enough, all these premiums will be a wash and it will have made no difference in the first place. Another really important thing to consider: it's hard to know what is going to be super collectible. In this case, I thought that this was a fairly safe bet, right? These are 2022 10-ounce Beskar bars. These were a great flip in 2021. The mintage was much higher in 2022. And with the 1 ounce Beskar bars, I can tell you I've already taken a bath on those. Or at least I would have if I've sold already. You lose a huge amount of your advantage when something is anticipated as a collectible or sold as a collectible. Buying these from APMEX, these cost $450 each, okay? And let's think about that. Spot was around $25 at the time. So that's a $20 an ounce premium. That's nearly 100% premium on a 10-ounce bar, which is basically unheard of, especially for something that's so new, you know, not some rare Engelhard vintage bar that's hard to get your hands on. Now, what I will say is even though spot has dropped from 25 to 18 during that time, these are still worth an easy $450. But it's actually kind of difficult to sell these even at $500. If you look at eBay recently, they are selling for $500 or $600. But if you're on Instagram or something, you've seen people trying to post these up for sale and having a much harder time getting rid of them than you might have anticipated. And that's a lot of cash to wrap up into silver, and you definitely are outside of the ballpark of stacking when you're paying nearly 100% premium for a 10-ounce bar. But when you're given the opportunity to, I have really scored big by paying bullion prices for things like this slab St. Gaudens double eagle, or this half eagle $5 gold piece. Pre-33 gold can be a great way of getting gold at bullion prices that might actually end up being more valuable in the long term. It's really hard to say. For a while there, any kind of world gold and even United States constitutional gold didn't really have a great premium, didn't really have a fantastic market, but it's really getting hot in the last year or two. But let's say you go to a local coin shop and you're given two options. You can buy a regular buffalo or a proof buffalo. If they're the same price, it's a no-brainer. I bought this one at basically the same price as any bullion. It came in the original government packaging. It's a proof. There is just going to inherently be a bigger market for this because you're going to cover not only stackers, but also collectors. If you have to pay a much higher premium to get something like this collector proof buffalo, to be honest, I really doubt that it's worth it, as cool as this thing looks. But if given the opportunity, it's important to recognize that collectible gold and silver could really have an important role in your stack. I'm fully aware that there are purists out there who don't even like hearing the term stack in reference to any kind of semi-numismatic or numismatic item. And while I understand that, I think about this more in terms of diversification. I'm not just in silver, I'm also in gold. I'm not just in low premium stacking pieces, I'm also interested in semi-numi, numi, or collectible silver and gold. Because whether the price goes up or the price goes down, whether silver does well or gold does well, I am insulated against any extreme changes because of that diversification. And if you're given the opportunity to, let's say, buy uncirculated Kennedy half dollars that have no wear on them whatsoever, maybe that's the best from the perspective of getting the most actual silver weight for the same amount of money. But if I'm given that opportunity, I'm going to pick up these worn, circulated Barber half dollars. And you know why? Because I pay the same price for these, and yet when I look up some of these in the red book, they're worth $40, $50, $60, while I actually only paid about $10 each for these. It can be hard to understand, but there's huge overlap between stacking and collecting silver and gold, and I really hope that this video helped to explain why having some collectible gold and silver in your stack can help to insulate you against drops in prices. But also keep in mind, it's important to have those low premium stacking options because you don't want to miss out on margins when the price of silver and gold skyrocket here in the future. Until next time, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. And if you are interested in winning some free silver from Silver Forever, make sure to click this link right here because that is the last video where we are giving away silver. So until next time, silver today, silver tomorrow, Silver Forever, out.